Welcome, knowledge seekers and professionals, to the channel of the Swiss Journal of Radiology and Nuclear Medicine. A quick heads up, the following audio does not include any images, tables, or other additional information. If you're interested in the following paper, please visit our website listed in the caption below. Now, let's get started. Today, we're going to dive into the scientific publication with the title Regulatory Needs for Radiation Protection Devices Based Upon Artificial Intelligence, State Task, or Leave Unregulated by Stephanie Garney, Nando Merteniet, Gerd Nolj, Kevin Danishvar, and Frank Mosler. Introduction. The differentiation between artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning is initially irrelevant for radiation protection in radiology. It is important to emphasize that any application of such methods in radiation protection inevitably leads to a somewhat ambiguous responsibility in the event of errors. Critical aspects in the future application of this technology will be, for example, potential for mass manipulation, but also substantial productivity increases. As an example, consider the AI algorithm used in computed tomography scanners, which calculates radiation exposure based on the provided protocol data and patient-specific information, and also releases it during the examination. Radiology, as a service provider with an interconnected modern medicine, must not be overlooked when evaluating patient outcomes and patients' radiation exposures. The capacity for improvement can be achieved, in our belief, through enhanced facilities and increased productivity. One tool that offers significant opportunities is information technology based on artificial intelligence. To date, AI research in radiology has primarily focused on image analysis. The marketing of healthcare devices enabled for use with artificial intelligence or machine learning is regulated in the U.S. by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, which is responsible for approving and regulating medical devices. Presently, there are no consistent guidelines established by the FDA to regulate artificial intelligence or machine learning-enabled medical devices, and the disparities between FDA-approved indications for use and device marketing necessitate clarification. FDA approval. Guidelines and manuals governing adherence and regulation of items approved for use are readily accessible to the public for all devices under FDA jurisdiction, with the notable exception of most AI or machine learning-enabled software and software considered as medical devices. Instead, the Good Machine Learning Practice for Medical Device Development Guiding Principles fills this gap, delineating 10 guiding principles. While widely embraced by AI and machine learning developers, these principles are not presented as rigid mandates. Challenges of AI in radiology. The rationale underlying the design of AI must also be taken into account, as certain systems can be programmed to behave unethically. For instance, Uber's algorithmic tool, Greyball, was developed to predict which ride-hailers might be undercover law enforcement officers, enabling the company to detect and evade local regulations. Similarly, Volkswagen's algorithm enabled vehicles to pass emissions tests by reducing their nitrogen oxide emissions during testing. Likewise, designers in the private sector tasked with creating AI algorithms for clinical applications may face similar ethical dilemmas, potentially programming AI systems to steer users towards clinical actions that would boost profits for their purchasers without necessarily ensuring better patient care. Another concern for policymakers is timing. Presently, companies recognize the potential of machine or deep learning and are consistently amassing new forms of data for analysis and exploitation. In a rapidly evolving and unpredictable environment such as the technology sector and AI, regulations must be promptly enacted to remain pertinent. Regulatory needs. Examples of AI-based radiation protection devices still to be regulated in Switzerland. Simple questions. All components of a medical device in radiation protection should be labeled or assessed regarding the use of AI. This applies to both hardware and software. As an example, consider the user manual of any X-ray device. In Switzerland, with its 4 official languages, user manuals are required to be available at least in French, German, and Italian. If the manufacturer of a certain X-ray device chooses to have its user manual translated, for instance, by ChatGPT, the following simple questions arise, among others. Should it be labeled as a AI-driven translation? Who bears responsibility when dubious translations result in user errors and incorrect radiation protection for patients? Are there quality control measures implemented by the manufacturer? What are the protocols? If quality control protocols exist, who oversees their implementation? Humans or AI? These questions above mentioned, among many others, are the so-called easy ones to answer. Of course, the correct answers depend on the insight and the striking will of the politics and the earnest pursuit towards implementation by the officially responsible authorities, which would have substantially more of hard administrative workload than ever before. Key inquiries. The complexity and criticality of these questions escalate significantly when AI-based software is responsible for determining the dosage of radiation administered to individual patients during X-ray or CT examinations. This intricate matter poses considerable challenges due to liability concerns, responsibilities, and other technical inquiries. AI-based software fundamentally resembles a human brain. As per its intrinsic nature and the original definition, AI is capable of autonomously deriving novel conclusions based on input, environmental interpretation, and continuous learning. This process enables the AI to execute direct actions independently, comparable to a child's brain. Only the AI operates and learns at lightning speed, devoid of any moral constraints. Hence, in the context of radiation protection measures concerning autonomous AI-based X-ray devices, we pose the following key inquiries. How is it ensured that the AI-based software accurately presents the human technician with the correct results of radiation exposure during a CT examination? In other words, would the AI be capable of deception? For example, in a case of radiation overdose or inadequate protocol? Who bears final responsibility about the radiation dose exposed? The manufacturer? The operator? The radiologist? The patient? The X-ray device with AI? Are control measures in place to prevent the AI software from overriding accurate information regarding the actual dose of radiation administered? How can we develop step-by-step protocols to prevent AI from circumventing control measures? Ethical considerations. FAT paradigm of AI ethics. Fairness, accountability, transparency. Many ethical concerns related to AI in healthcare can be grouped into 3 main categories: fairness, accountability, and transparency. This has led some researchers to discuss the fairness, accountability, and transparency paradigm of AI ethics. While it may not be feasible or desirable to eliminate all biases, it is essential to acknowledge them and consider their implications for both machine and human decision-making processes. Biases can arise from the utilization of datasets that either overrepresent, underrepresent, or entirely miss certain relevant characteristics for the task at hand. Additionally, there is a risk of automation bias, where humans begin to overly rely on machine outputs without exercising their own critical judgment and scrutiny. Furthermore, there is the potential for spurious correlations that, if acted upon, could result in harm to patients. Presently, there is limited experience employing AI for patient care across its various demanding and diverse settings. Extensive research is still needed to comprehend the optimal utilization of AI in clinical practice and the essential operational characteristics it should possess. The approach to addressing these issues will be influenced not only by technical factors, but also by the ethical considerations within the community. Individuals engaged in any phase of an AI product's life cycle must possess a thorough understanding of it. It is our responsibility to comprehend the risks associated with the products we utilize, to communicate any potential pitfalls to patients and stakeholders as necessary, and to continuously monitor AI products to mitigate harm. Moreover, we are obligated to ensure not only that the overall use of the product is beneficial, but also that the distribution of benefits among potential stakeholders is fair and equitable. Recommendations: and healthcare is best conceptualized as a socio-technological practice where humans and machines do not view against each other, but rather where machines augment the abilities of humans. Innovations in AI within radiology are likely to be propelled by academic healthcare organizations collaborating with industry. Guidelines are essential to govern these partnerships in an ethical manner. Bias stands out as one of the foremost ethical concerns associated with AI in radiology. While not all biases are detrimental, all applications of AI should undergo scrutiny for potential impacts stemming from various forms of bias. Guidelines for the ethical utilization of imaging AI must be established, with radiologists collaborating with ethicists at the forefront of this initiative. For the responsible integration of AI into clinical practice, robust validation strategies are imperative. One approach is to align AI use cases, as defined by clinical end users, with challenges designed to objectively evaluate and compare algorithm performance. To train resilient AI algorithms, diverse datasets are essential. Standards are required to facilitate the efficient utilization and sharing of these datasets through clinical trials. Data sharing holds the potential to advance the development of clinically relevant AI tools, provided that barriers to data sharing are addressed and appropriate incentives are established. Radiologists will need varying levels of proficiency in AI depending on their roles, but it is crucial for all radiologists to acquire a fundamental understanding of AI, encompassing both its capabilities and limitations. Developing the educational resources necessary for an AI curriculum will necessitate collaborative efforts among multiple stakeholders, including national and international societies, regulatory officials, and academic radiology departments. Discussion. In the pertinent scientific literature, three critical areas of intervention in AI can be discerned: ethical concerns, the international regulatory framework, and bottlenecks in regulatory development. Specifically, bottlenecks have been pinpointed, particularly regarding workload, indicating that regulating it without a scientific foundation may pose greater risks than having no regulation at all. The majority of governmental regulatory officers, radiologists, specialized radiation protection experts, like medical physicists, technicians, and above all radiation exposed patients, have not been adequately informed about AI and its exact tasks in radiation protection. However, they are evidently eager to participate in further courses to enhance their understanding and technical proficiency in this field. The overwhelming consensus is optimistic, with many believing that AI will positively impact their future practice. Their primary expectations revolve around enhancing the quality of care for patients and optimizing the time spent with them. Regulations, standards, and codes of conduct must be established and consistently revised. Central to these codes of conduct is an ongoing focus on transparency, safeguarding patient interests, and robust oversight of data versions and utilization. Continuous post-implementation monitoring is essential to detect unintended consequences and potential declines in quality, with established protocols for identifying causes and implementing corrective measures. important and uncomfortable questions need to be answered. Therefore, it is incumbent upon policymakers and official regulatory bodies to ensure the continuous reliability of medical radiation protection for the general public, especially in the face of regulatory vacuums created by new technologies such as AI. Entrusting this task to the so-called free market is not considered conducive to achieving this goal. We have come to an end. Thank you for listening in, and until very soon with more interesting publications. If you want to share your own paper in our journal, feel free to contact our team. We are looking forward to hearing from you. Don't forget to like and share if you enjoyed this content. Click the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on future publications from the Swiss Journal of Radiology and Nuclear Medicine. Until next time.